Hello, everybody, and I'd like to talk to you all today about something that comes up quite a bit, and it's down the pet road here. There's a lot of people who think they can get away with saying that their animal or their dog is a Staffordshire Terrier or the dog's main, scientific name, and think that the rest of us in the world don't know that it was actually a pit bull or a mastiff or a Rottweiler or something of that nature. Now, if you think you want to rent from anybody, my suggestion to you is to not get a dog that is on the bite list. And the bite list is a no insure or non-insurable list. That means they will not cover the insurance if they have one of these dogs in the home. There's only two ways to get away from this, and that is to either have it made into a therapy dog for you or someone in your home, or to have it certified as a service animal. Now, there is a lot of service animals out there, and most of which are trained for very specific things. Either it's to help someone who's hearing impaired, sight impaired, mobility impaired, or something of that nature. Now, that doesn't mean that that's where it is limited. Service animals have been found to be useful in all sorts of areas. So if you are going to get a large breed like this, I strongly suggest you get them trained and also certified. If you do not want to have your animals certified and you don't want to have them trained because you're afraid that they might be trained to bite or something like that, you can train them not to, or to resist the urge, because most dogs don't want to bite, and when they do bite, it's out of fear. And I say it's out of fear because most of the time kids or people are either hitting the dog, abusing the dog in some way, or threatening the dog, and that is why people end up getting bit. And it's usually the person's fault, and it really makes me mad that when it's the person's fault, what do? Kill the animal. Don't kill the child. No, that's human. You can't kill a child. Or kill the dog. Because it only lives 7 to 20 years. Kid will live up to 90 and can be trained and taught. Why not give the animal a second chance? That's my question. Now, also on this bite list that I said, they also talk about on there, mainly it is all big dogs. And we're talking Mastiffs, Doberman Pinschers, Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, or Staffordshire Terriers, the same thing. Now, along with your Mastiffs, a lot of people say, oh, I've got a Cane Corso, or I've got an English Mastiff, or I've got an English Bulldog, and a Bulldog is still on that list because I don't know why they're on that list. But there's a lot of dogs on this list, and most of the insurance, if you look it up on the internet, will give you a list of about 14 to 18 dogs, depending upon which site you go to. Now, one thing I've always noticed on these lists, there's no Chihuahuas. There's no Dachshunds. There's no little dogs like Jack Russell Terriers. These little terriers and things do more damage than any of the big dogs. So with that being said, I want to say, if you're going to rent from somebody, there's only two things you can do. You can either have your animal certified as a service animal, or you can have it put as a therapy dog. Or don't rent. Buy. Wait until you get out of renting to buy a house and get a dog. Don't get a dog while you're renting. Everybody likes to have animals. Everybody likes to have things that are comforting and that dog can come up and love on you and they're wonderful and they're just sweet little dogs. But on paper, they don't care about that. People care about what it is. Just like most people are scared to death of a pit bull. Why? I don't know. Because of all these stories that go out, one bad story can ruin a reputation of an animal, of the entire breed. One bad story out of 100 good ones can ruin it and give it a bad reputation. That dog could save lives all its life. And then as soon as it's old and retired and it can't see very well and it accidentally bites somebody because it got hurt. Somebody walked up and patted it too hard and it hit, they hit its shoulder or something that was painful and dogs turned around and snapped out of pain. The dog's not biting because it was angry. It was biting because it was in pain. And what do? Put the dog down. We don't do that to humans. Whenever the humans go after the dogs, do we put them down? No. No, it's wrong to put down a human because of it. But yet we'll kill a dog fast. Now let's go switch gears here. I want to talk to you about levels of feral being levels of wild in cats. Now whenever we work with the cats inside the park, you have babies, kittens, within the first 2 weeks. I'd say maybe even the first month and a half. 2 months. Yeah, we'll say the first 2 months. They can be taken and made not feral. I mean, they're babies. Now, I'm not saying whenever you find baby kittens underneath your home that you should go out and take them. No, let the mother do their stuff and wing them. As soon as they're weaned, by all means, get them, bring them in your home, train them to be good cats. Do not declaw them because that does a whole lot of bad things to the cats. I mean, that's like taking and ripping off your own fingernails just because you don't want to scratch your skin. Would you do that? Would you? I wouldn't. Now, level 2, as I like to call it, is because first is you got your kittens. Then you got your partially feral. The ones that are out in the wild every day, but they're still nice. They'll still come up to you, but they don't want to be picked up. They don't want to go in your house. I have one of these. She hates it in the wintertime because we make her come inside. We don't want her to be outside in the cold, cold temperatures. So we make her come inside. She doesn't like it. She fights with all the rest of my cats. So we have to keep her secluded from everybody else. Now that does not mean that we throw her in an itty bitty room. That means that we make an area for her. Now, level 3 of feral. And I would say this is right at the point where the cat will be curious of you, but will not come to you. Like, it'll come like a little ways, but it's going to stay 5 to 15 feet out. Those can be dropped down a level if you work with them enough. And then the 4th and final level. That's wild, wild. Means you cannot tame it. There is no taming it. None whatsoever. It is wild. Don't try to pick it up. Don't try to chase after it. Don't try to catch it. Because if you stick your little fingers in the cages, they're going to take them off. They're going to bite you. Now, I've had cats that are super feral. And these feral cats are like any feral animal, any wild, wild animal. They get scared if you put them in a cage. And yes, we had to fix a bunch, so we had quite a few that were very feral. And the ones that were not feral, some of them became my pets. And the ones that didn't become my pets, we were able to rehome into other homes. We rehomed about 14 cats. Now, that's kittens and younger cats. But I also ended up keeping 15, one of which is outside, and we have about, out of the 14 remaining, I would say there's only 3 that don't go outside. The rest, they all go outside. They go in and out whenever they please, and for the most part, they stay outside. We do bring them in during coyote and cougar season of mating seasons. Not like during the day, because obviously the bigger cats and the predators are all sleeping. But we do try to bring as many of them in at night as will come in. And we do have a couple other ones that are starting to become where they don't want to come back inside, but they're not feral. They still come up to you. They still love on you. Some of them are a little skittish around new people, but they still come up to you, and it's good. We love them. Now, also, I haven't given you all a trailer park story, have I? Just kind of talked and talked and talked. So, we'll go with one about Teasy. Now, Teasy is a cat that lives inside my park. He is a wonderful little kitty, but he likes to tease animals. Now, with all trailer parks and apartment complexes, houses, things of that nature, when you tie your dog out, it is generally to a fixed point. Now, if you take that fixed point, it has a circle or a radius of where it can go. You know, a very set length. And then you get your dog in there, and it gives it just a little bit of movement room between the dog's collar moving and stretching and everything else. Now, Teasy will find the very maximum edge that your animal can pull and push, and he will sit that far from the edge. And you're like, wait a minute, you're telling me this cat just sits down? No, I'm not telling you this cat sits down. I'm telling you this cat will walk up, figure out how far away your dog's mouth will get, and then he will lay down to the point where his feet and his body stay within a couple of inches from your animal's mouth while it's going off and just snapping like crazy, and it just sits there. Doesn't do nothing. Just sits there. I've even seen him yawn several times. Like, this dog or this cat will sit and lay down, and the dog comes running over and bow, hits the end of that leash and stops right before the end. Right before gets to him, because he's got this little bit of room, and you got this dog snapping right here, and then Teasy's just laying there. And it happens all the time. Now, I'm not saying that this is because cats are crazy. He might be, but he's also, unfortunately, the father to probably about 10 of the cats that I have. Now, the other ones, I've got Beefy, which he is a cat here in the park that runs the park. And I've got another video just about Teasy, or about Beefy, and his generals and everything. But now, I want to switch over real quick and tell you about when I first got one of my cats, my favorite cat, which is Teasy's son, Tigger. Now, Tigger liked to get out at night. So, it's midnight, 11:30 midnight. Tigger, with a T, goes outside. I go outside after him. I'm out here going, here, Tiggy, 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 here, Tigger, Tigger, Tigger. What do you think my neighbor heard? It wasn't Tigger with a T. I'm not saying the word because I don't say that nasty word. She thought I was saying the N-word. Now, one of my good friends also happens to live on the other side of her, and he happens to be black. I told him the story, and he just about busted up laughing because you got to think. I'm outside, white guy, in my boxers, walking around at night, around my house, around this trailer, trying to get my cat inside. And I'm bent over going, here, Tigger, 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 here, Tigger, 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 here, Tiggy, here, Tiggy. Now think about what she heard. Yeah, I don't think it's funny, but everybody else seems to think it's funny that I was outside and they thought I was out there saying the N-word. Here, no. No, not going to happen. Not me. Now, with now another one of my cats, she's a tortie with white, and her name is Doris. She's a sweet little cat. She was abused as a kitten before we got her, and these kids they threw her up against a tree and threw her against the ground and really just messed her up. And we got to her before, the day that they were doing it, so we were able to take her to the hospital, to the veterinarian. I call it a hospital, but that's actually a veterinarian, or a veterinary hospital, whatever you want to call it. And we got her checked out. Everything was fine. We're good to go. Now, Doris, because she was abused, she's got a messed up eye, the pupil's a little messed up, and she's got this kind of tick, is what a lot of people like to call it. It's not like a kind of tick. Now, whenever you go to pet her, she actually nibbles on her side, kind of like suckles on her side, like it's her mother's teat or something. So she's kind of special. And I've had a lot of people say, oh, you got a special cat. Like, that cat's a little mentally slow. And I'm like, I don't care. I love her to death. Now, that being said, I don't know if it's her father coming through or something, but she is one of the biggest bullies in my house, and I swear she picks on all my cats, every one of them. And there's not a cat in that house that she doesn't pick on, other than maybe one, and that's the one that I would still say that she picks on him because they play fight all the time. They wrestle around like a freaking couple of damn monsters. You'd be downstairs in my workshop, and all of a sudden I hear boom, boom, boom. Go upstairs, and these two are just sitting there rolling around on the floor, smacking off the couch. One of them fall off the couch or something like that. So Doris is actually one of our little gangsters because she's, even though she might be a little special, she's still very, very active, and she does not take crap from anybody, except for Franklin. Now, she tried to go after Franklin one day, and Franklin's long hair that we got he's an older cat when we got him. He's a couple years old. Now, she went after Franklin one day, and she's all like, ah! And Franklin just laid down on his side like, what? You gonna do something? You gonna hit me? And she did. She smacked him right on the nose. He come up all so fast, he was like, rah, 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 rah. Whooped her butt. Now, when the other cats try to mess with him, and they come up and they'll raise that little hand up like they do, like they're gonna hit him, you just look at them. Do it. Just do it. And you see them take that hand, and they get all silent and walk away with their head down low because they know Franklin ain't nobody to mess with. Now, most of my cats have some funny names. Not really funny. I name my cats after people I like and people that I find to be important in our history, which means I have gangsters. That's right. I have one Alphonse Capone. I have one Bonnie and one Clyde. And yes, I did name them their full names. I'm just not going to go into all that. I've got one George Babyface Nelson. And I've got one that you might not think is a gangster, but he was a gangster in his own right. And for those of you who know what a real gangster is, not one of these little wannabe thugs running around on the frickin' street corner with their pants halfway down, offering their butts up to all the guys that just come out of prison, because that's where that stuff started. Now, we have Franklin D. Roosevelt. And that is my Frank. He's the one that you just don't mess with. He'll whoop you. I mean, he will. If you're another cat, he will whoop you. Because he just does not care. He'll just lay right on down and be like, what, you gonna hit me? I'll tear your butt up. Now, some of the other cats are pretty normal. You know, Tigger, you've heard about. Doris. Ruger. That was another one that actually here not too long ago, because I live in the country, and I'm pretty sure that last deer season, when I was out deer hunting, he got attacked by a cougar, and we're pretty sure that he got taken. Now, I say that because animals go missing in my neighborhood. It's not like they get picked up. No, they go missing because they get eaten. Okay? Now, I'm telling you, they get eaten for a reason. I live in the country. If you live in the country, you deal with these kind of things. Coyotes have to get, they want to get in your chicken coop, so you really barricade your chicken coop in. But there's other animals that you can't barricade in. Your cows, your calves, your little cats, things like that. They're going to get eaten. Things happen. So, as always, keep your faith in whatever you have faith in. Don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know when you might run into a Ted Bundy. It's somebody, for those of you millennials, that looks really nice, but is in actuality a serial killer and really wants to just do bad things to your dead body. Now, have a wonderful day.